is my home, but there's fire burning in my bones. I still believe, yeah, I still believe. And all those things I didn't say, wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream them loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. I'll be strong. I'll pay my...
There's so many women that have gone before me and have taken to the sky.
Do you think there is a need for women in space?
Well, is there a need for men in space?
All these women have been my role models and my inspiration, and I couldn't be here today without them.
Özlem Türeci is the woman behind a leading COVID-19 vaccine.
Women bring an energy to rap that did not exist before.
And the Grammy goes to Cardi B.
Who knows how many others could have been the first if they'd had the chance to try.
Pattern Beauty is launching. I'm the first person in my family to start a business.
Let's talk about some glass ceilings being shattered.
Jugo Tabai summited heights no woman before her had reached.
We can show girls that anything is possible. It doesn't matter what they look like or where they come from. They can change the world.
There's so many women that have gone before me and have taken to the sky.
Do you think there is a need for women in space?
Well, is there a need for men in space?
All these women have been my role models and my inspiration, and I couldn't be here today without them.
Özlem Türeci is the woman behind a leading COVID-19 vaccine.
Women bring an energy to rap that did not exist before.
And the Grammy goes to Cardi B.
Who knows how many others could have been the first if they'd had the chance to try.
Pattern Beauty is launching. I'm the first person in my family to start a business.
Let's talk about some glass ceilings being shattered.
Jugo Tabai summited heights no woman before her had reached.
We can show girls that anything is possible. It doesn't matter what they look like or where they come from. They can change the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in celebrating our National Women's History Month. guest speakers. Introducing Miss Christine Coy, Senior Director. Introducing Miss Yun-Lu Jin, Executive Director. Introducing Miss Jenny Gabor, Chief Executive Officer. Introducing Miss Shu-Ling Liang, Senior Director. Introducing Miss Cici Chan, Chief Executive Officer. Your special keynote speaker. Introducing Miss Lin Win, Executive Chairman. Are you ready? For your mistress of ceremonies, will you please welcome Miss Jasmine Mo, Executive Director.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Women's Empowerment event. I'm so excited to be here with you today to celebrate the International Women's History Month. My name is Jasmine Mo, and I'm your host today. In nowadays, women are taking on so many important roles in the society. We are managing our career while still expected to be moms, daughters, wives, caregivers, and much more at a time. Ladies, give yourself a big round of applause. You deserve it. Look at how far you have come, especially after we have been through in 2020. And today, we want to empower you, all of the women, no matter where you come from, where your background is and your education. We will share with you a sound financial concept, and so you can gain in control of your life and be inspired by so many empowered women in this event. And now, let's talk about who we are. We are World Financial Group, a part of global Fortune 500 companies in financial industry. This platform has nurtured tens of thousands of women entrepreneurs and helped ordinary ladies just like you and me to become successful. It provides world-class leadership, world-class coaching, state-of-the-art technology, and resources through a recession and pandemic-proof system. Here, let me introduce a little bit about myself. My name is Jasmine Mo. I was born and raised in China. I'm a proud mom of two beautiful daughters and a wife of a wonderful husband, and also I am a woman entrepreneur. I came to the United States 15 years ago, just like many of other educated Asian Americans. To finish my degree, I found a job in a great company, made my parents proud. Everything looked great from outside, but deep inside, something was missing. I just don't know what it is. Back in 2008, I have a chance to come to this company's big event and listen to a gentleman there on the stage. He is a very successful entrepreneur and reached his financial independence. He started to share with us a video he took in Africa. Because he has a charity foundation right over there. He was feeding, helping orphans in the hills of garbage with no shoes on their feet and no clean water to drink. He was providing the food, shelter, and education to these underprivileged children. Until right now, I can still smell that environment and the helpless eyes staring at me. And this video really touched something deep inside in my heart. I told myself, that is something I really want to do, and I need to do it. I want to do something big and better than myself. By working in the corporate, I couldn't help me to reach out the scale of the impact. At that point, I realized I need a bigger platform, a better vehicle, and achieve my goal faster. From then on, I shift my focus on the business. Over the last 10 years, I've worked very hard in this business with my husband. We are able to work away from the corporate job and become a mom entrepreneur. Now, we have built multiple offices in Boston and New York and has expanded into 10 different states. The platform that blessed me has also blessed many people with the same opportunity. I'm so grateful for what we do, and that's why I am here today. And nowadays, women has a driven force in today's economy, and we are making these key decisions in both business and finance. And how many of you are confident to talk about money? As the statistics show that women are behind in many areas of financial planning and lack of overall financial knowledge. And we are here to help and educate you on how to build and protect your wealth. In the past 12 months, we have experienced a worldwide pandemic, and which has caused 47 million people in the US to file for unemployment, and hundreds of thousands of businesses were forced to close down. Many of them are women and single moms. More than ever before, people need our help. We don't know when is the next pandemic gonna strike, but let me ask you a question. Will you be ready if something similar happens? We are having this conversation today because we want to encourage you to take charge of your life and be proactive to any circumstances that may come. We are here to empower you, enlighten you, and lift you up. And today, we have a full house of powerful women speakers. Many of them are my mentors and role models. In everyday life, they are just ordinary ladies like you and me. But in business, they are extraordinary, powering, and successful. Some of these women you are about to hear are making millions of dollars in a year. But to them, it's not how much they make. It is how many lives they can impact. Please take your time and listen very careful to what they are going to share with you. And make sure you stay till the end of this event so you will get the very best from all of them. Okay, right now, it's my honor to introduce the first speaker. Her name is Christine Coy. She is a remarkable lady, very successful business entrepreneur, and she has such a genuine and sweet character. I remember 2 years ago, we have a friend in DC area that needs some help. We contacted Christine, and she went out her way and helped our friend. That lady was just a stranger to Christine. Most amazing thing is that six months later, Christine checked in and followed up with that lady. She's still thinking about her. It demonstrates her world-class character and professionalism. Christine is a wonderful mom of 2 beautiful children and an awesome wife. She got an MBA degree and had a very successful corporate career. And right now, she transitioned herself and become a very successful entrepreneur. And he is a very amazing leader. Without taking too much time, let's welcome Christine Coy.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jasmine. It's just awesome to be here with you and all the incredible women on this call, and and men as well. I think it's really important to be able to come together and have these conversations and celebrate, you know, what women have done and what we're still doing. And so, Jasmine, your story is inspiring to me as well. So I'm just excited to be here, especially, you know, the opening was so powerful. You know, this time, it's March 2021, and the fact that we're closing out Women's History Month together on this call really speaks loudly, as, you know, we're starting to see this light at the end of this, hopefully soon, pandemic, and seeing things shift, and it's the start of spring. So what an incredible time to be here and talk about what women have done, what women are doing, and some of the real issues that we face, right? I think what we saw, what we've seen in terms of history, as well as what this pandemic shown, is the roles that women play, right? It's in so many different areas. The opening video showed some of it, the contributions in the workforce that we give, right? Being on the front lines in so many areas. This pandemic really highlighted those who really focus on doing what they could, not just for themselves, their family, but for so many others. And then, to the partners in our life, in our families, and being the caretakers, and now the teachers and the tutors. And I think this pandemic has really shown what women can do and what they're capable of when they're called to action. You guys all agree, right? So everyone give themselves a round of applause. And I'm going to speak to women, but really this is a conversation for everyone, because it takes all of us to work together to empower each other and to empower women, right? It's not just a women's conversation. And this pandemic, when it hit, I want to give some really hard facts, right? Because Jasmine touched on this, and I think it really comes into play when we're talking about in our careers, right? I'm focused on sharing a little bit about my story. I had 15 years in corporate, and in this pandemic, we saw a lot of headlines. With us coming out of the pandemic and it being 2021, in January of this year, we still had 275,000 women leave the workforce versus 71,000 of men, right? And that's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And this is hopefully what is the tail end of this pandemic, right? So just think about what 2020, the past year, has been for women. Prior to this pandemic, women were half of the workforce. So you just think about that statistic in 1 month in January, how many women were more affected by this? And why is that? It's because it happens to also show that we have incredible talents, incredible strengths, and we do beyond what is asked of us, right? And so that's one piece of what happened during this pandemic. The second piece is, what about the women who stayed in the workforce during this pandemic, right? And one of the big consultant firms, McKinsey, they found that 1 out of 4 women are thinking about leaving the workforce or downshifting. And that this pandemic really highlighted the stress and the strain that was disproportionately put onto women, or maybe it's what women take on, right? Because we step up when something is needed, right? When there's a call to action, we step up. And during this pandemic, women not only were the ones leaving the workforce or stayed in the workforce, but they were there to help as caregivers. They helped to tutor their children. They helped to make sure, that that they were also a counselor, a nurse, a school chef. I mean, there were so many different roles that women took on this past year, and still tried to lead a charge to make sure that their family is in place, their finances in place, as Jasmine talked about, right? And when you look at prior to this pandemic and, what we saw, of course this happened, right? 75% of unpaid caregivers are women. And that's according to the Institute of Aging. So, I share this, one, to really celebrate how incredible women are, because we were impacted in this way because we're able to do so much, right? So again, hats off to all the women on here, all the women that you all know who did more in this past year than what has been asked from them in decades, right? And so it also made me realize my career turning points. And that's what I really wanted to share with you today, because as Jasmine mentioned, I spent 15 years in corporate finance, where I worked on financial strategies, right? Investor relations. I was part of a big public company. They were the #1 aerospace company, $35 billion. So it was a huge, huge opportunity for me from a career perspective. And they really grew me, right? And what I saw was that when I moved around and understood, how do we restructure a company so that there's value to our shareholders, that there's value to those who are investing into our company. Well, a lot of times it meant that hard decisions had to be made, and it oftentimes came down to people. And the whole time when I was in this corporate career for 15 years, you know, I climbed, I was groomed to try to hit the executive level. And the whole time, what I really wanted was, one, I felt like there was more for me to do, but I didn't have the bandwidth to do it or to figure out what that was. And that's because with corporate, what's great is I had great opportunities and they kept on moving me. And the more you achieve, the more they want you to do more, right? And so it was great. And then the other piece is also family had always been important to me. I didn't have, you know, a family when I first started out my career, but it was something that always grounded me. So if I fast forward, you know, the 15 years in my corporate life, in corporate finance, I realized that, you know, I really needed to take the time out to figure out what I wanted to do. And what happened was, when I was about to have my second child, as far as going into maternity leave, I had worked with management, and this is a very real conversation I want to share with the ladies, especially if you're in corporate right now, because I looked for opportunities to figure out how to get the bandwidth to pinpoint what else I can do. And so I was able to get the backing of going back part-time after having my second child. And so that's unheard of in corporate, especially now, right? And the very real conversation about that was, I was lucky to have that support and that buy-in, but that also meant we had a very open conversation. It meant by doing that, I put a target on my back. What does that mean? It means when you're part-time, when you want some flexibility and you want to prioritize, when a company has to make tough decisions or they have to strategize or restructure, the first people that's on that list, because I've been in front of that list to make those tough decisions, are those who are part-time. And so at that point, we were talking about corporate strategies, and then I realized that, you know, if I want to actually make a shift and a pivot, that I need to actually leave on my own terms. And when I decided to do that, I had actually the benefit of what I saw, you know, with this platform. I saw it from the sidelines. My father actually was in engineering in management with IBM for 25 years. And he and my mom switched over from a corporate career into business because they could see what happened with my dad and IBM when they decided to restructure and have hundreds of thousands of layoffs, that even though he wasn't affected, he would be at some point. So having that benefit, I realized that I needed to change my trajectory, because I was on the other side of the table, right? We're deciding for strategies, you know, who is going to get let go. And I knew that even if I work super hard down the road in 15, 20 years, there's a good chance I will be on the other side of the table. And so that's when I shifted over and wanted to leave on my own terms, because women, you know, we take on so much that we want to make sure that we have the flexibility, be able to have the right priorities, and be able to do more for not just the family, but for others, for the community. And so as I shifted over, I also realized I had the best mentors in business, because what my family had done was built a business across North America with not just a platform, but building with others so that they can make more of an impact in helping families be financially better. And so that is something that I really took to heart when I came over and learned. And the benefits of moving into entrepreneurship became very clear to me, because it brought me more purpose, right? Doing something beyond just myself or my career track, and building in security for down the road and for the family, because I was in control of my future. Whereas, as I shared with you, in corporate, we have to make tough decisions, right? And we have to bring value, and oftentimes that means people. And when I looked for part-time, I knew that was putting a target on my back. And when I talked about leaving on my own terms, I had the CFO come talk to me and try to keep me. But what's interesting is 2 years later, the CFO and the senior VP who wanted to try to keep me there, they weren't there, right? So the reality of corporate is it's great for the moment, right? I had a great career there, but the difference is that when you make a decision for yourself and you have a vision to do more, you can do that by being in business for yourself. And when you think about what happened pre-pandemic and you look at entrepreneurship, 40% of women were actually what made up entrepreneurs, right? And that's pre-pandemic. And why is that? It's because that allows women to have flexibility, to be able to prioritize their time and make decisions, because they still, not only do they work extra hard, but we also know how to shift quickly, pivot quickly, and we're there for so many others. And most importantly, we can be there for ourselves when we're in entrepreneurship. So remember, the two things when it comes to looking at what you're assessing between corporate and entrepreneurship, you can do both here, right? We have the best of both worlds, where we can do business not just for ourselves, but with others, and also be able to leverage our partnerships with huge companies with great branding and bring that together and bring the best of corporate and entrepreneurship. So to wrap things up, I know, there's so much that's going to be discussed today. There's so much that women can impact when it comes to finance, family, ourselves, and our career, but don't shortchange your strengths, right? Make sure that you don't shortchange your vision either. Corporate can be great for the time being, but be able to see beyond today is one of women's strengths. And when you come and become a business owner, become an entrepreneur, where you can define your own value, what you believe in, and be empowered to make choices and empower others, that's when you have control of your time and your future. So I hope my story helps you figure out how to find that balance and be able to do more as women do, as history has shown, as this pandemic has shown, and why you're here today. So thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you so much, Christine. Your story is amazing. To pursue something beyond yourself and your family, you have the guts to walk away your glorious corporate position. You humble yourself and start over from the ground. And now you achieve higher. Wow, you are the lady with the true wisdom and with the big vision. Thank you so much. Okay, it's my privilege to introduce the next speaker. She is an amazing lady. She's Jenny Gabor. When I think about Jenny, she just reminds me of a word, class. Jenny's business just achieved a remarkable success. I have to say, Jenny is a huge factor behind the scenes. I've never seen a person that's so driven, focused, and structured. She has a tremendous work ethic. Her husband, Victor, always says so highly about her. Speaking of spinning the plates, she is the master of it. Jenny is taking care of 3 wonderful daughters as well as her in-laws. In business, she is organizing every detail so well at the back end, and in the front end, she's an amazing leader, building many successful entrepreneurs. Jenny, you're truly a role model to me and a role model to many ladies. Without further ado, let's welcome Jenny DeBoer.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for that great introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm so privileged to be here sharing my story with you today. My name is Jenny. I come from the Philippines. And, typically a Filipino culture, when they come to the country, the wife is a nurse, and then the husband actually stay home and take care of the kids. So that was us before, looking to find the American dream. But then coming here, with my 3 daughters, when we came here, my eldest was 12, my youngest was 6, we were thinking, hey, we actually just keep working hard. So I did not just work 1 job as a nurse. I had to work 3 jobs. Imagine working 80 hours a week just so that we can provide for the family. And my husband actually used to be an engineer, couldn't find job here in America. So he actually eventually became also a registered nurse. And what we did was we just kept working, just keep grinding ourselves. And you know what? We didn't have time. No time for the family. Whenever I come home, my husband would leave for work. And whenever I leave for work, my kids are sleeping. So didn't really have that quality time for our family. And because of because of all that, guess what? This was us before. Our American dream became a nightmare. And my coworker said, hey, you know what? You also need to start saving for your future. Retirement is something that you have to, just keep saving on your 401k. So in 2 years' time, we accumulate, about 100,000 in our 401k because we just really maximize. We put more than the match. And because of that, in 2008, the market crashed. Our 401k become a 201k. So I said, hey, you know what? What is this? Are we really coming here, to provide for our family? And guess what? We were actually introduced to World Financial Group in 2010. But, at that time, my husband was so entrepreneur-minded. He said, you know what? We can do this. I said, no, it's not for me. I'd rather just keep working on my job and just pay the bills and I'm all set. I said, I don't want to have to worry about anything when I come home. But all that changed. In 2013, we went to a company event and one of the speakers, Andy Wen, really spoke to my heart. And he said, if you keep doing what you're doing right now, 10 years, 20 years from now, where do you see yourself? And because of that, we started to shift ourselves. I now, building this business with my husband. So we're now building this company of, financial professionals. So now me and my husband, we actually work side by side now, whereas before we were actually just working each of our own separate ways. And because of this business, we are actually able to build, a group of people, just having that mission of helping families. And actually, guess what? We're changing the thinking of people now from being an employee to an entrepreneur. And guess what? Our team actually last year during the pandemic, our team actually grew 3 times more, where in other jobs are laying off people. There's a lot of people, cutting off work. Guess what? Our team, and guess what? Not just the Filipino community that we're serving right now. In our team, we have over 15 countries and nationalities that we are actually helping. And we are so fortunate that we are in this financial industry together now. And with that, I know that my kids now will have a better future because now we are now entrepreneurs. And I know that this business I can pass on to my kids. Is going to be a legacy for next generations to come. Thank you all for dialing in today. And we hope you have a great event. Back to you now, Jasmine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. What a story. You're always inspiring me. If you keep doing what you do right now, in 10 or 20 years, what do you see yourself, right? So in pandemic, her team grew 3 times. So you can see this is a pandemic-proof system. And I'm really great to have you today, Jenny. Okay, here, let me introduce the next speaker. Her name is Yunlu Jin. She is an amazing lady. Has a lot of wonderful characters on her. She is very intelligent, kind, and generous lady. Yunlu and her husband Xin has built a 7-figure income business, but also produced many 7-figure entrepreneurs and impact so many people. At the meantime, they are raising a beautiful family with 2 children. People say behind a successful man, there's always a lady. Yunlu is this kind of lady. So let's welcome Yunlu.
Thank you, Jasmine, for your kind introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yunlu, and it's my great honor to be here with you and celebrate Women's History Month together. I was born and grew up in China. After graduating from college, I came to the US with my husband in search of a better life. I got my master's degree in computer science and was full of hope after graduation. I moved to Boston in 1998 and worked for an IT company as a software engineer. At first, the economy was booming and my salary got increased every year. I was so happy because I thought soon I'm going to buy a house and expand the family. But unfortunately, because of the dot-com bubble in 2000, my company started to lay off people. And in 2002, my project got cut and the whole group in the picture on the right was gone. So I still remember that day when I sat in front of my computer, I just couldn't figure out what's wrong. After 2 months, I found a new job with a pay cut. But some of my colleagues, they are not that lucky. One of the gentlemen in his late 40s, he had 2 teenager boys and his wife was just diagnosed with breast cancer. He was the only breadwinner at his home. But after he lost his job, he lost all the income. He lost all the benefits, including the health insurance. He told me he couldn't afford his wife's medical bills. So I started to question myself, what if I got laid off again at his age? Can I still easily find a job? How could I support my family? So I wanted a backup plan so badly. And with little money and experience, I didn't know what can I do. When God closes a door, he opens a window, but it's up to you to find it. In August 2002, my best friend invited my husband and I to attend a financial seminar. It is the first time I heard about how money works and how to make your money work hard for you. When closing to the end of the seminar, the speaker said he's looking for open-minded people to join him and expand the Boston market. I had a gut feeling, this is it. This is the opportunity I'm looking for. So my husband and I took the opportunity, started from scratch, and learned eagerly from my mentor. After 16 months, we became senior director and started to build the business in the Boston area. Meanwhile, my 2 boys were born. And each time when I look at their smiley face, my heart was melted. Even though every day is like a battle for me, even though I had to juggle between job, business, and the babies, I truly believe someday magic will happen to me. I teamworked with my husband side by side. 1 + 1 is definitely greater than 2. And our business gradually became better and better. And finally, in 2008, I quit my 10 years IT job and became my own boss. The feeling is so incredible because I felt freedom. When the kids were in school, I got involved in the business. When they came back home, I took good care of them. When the baby's growing, so did our business. We started to expand business in other states. And in 2014, my husband and I, we achieved 7-figure annual income. 7-figure annual income, that's something we never dared to think about before. Because of the business, I became my own boss. Because of the business, I could take good care of my kids. Because of the business, I could provide better education for my boys. Because of the kids, I can do a lot of volunteer works at the school and watch them grow. Because of the business, I can support my aging parents. Because of the business, I had personal growth. And because of the business, I can help more people in the community. Today, I'm so glad to share my story with you. I'm so thankful for the wake-up call 18 years ago. I'm so glad I took the opportunity. I made the decision, right decision for my family and fight for it. Woman, as a mom, as a wife, as a girl. Family is the reason why we work so hard and care so much. I truly believe every woman, we not only can we take good care of family, but we can also become very successful entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I wish everyone be successful financially and professionally. Please keep staying safe and healthy. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Yunlu. You know what? Yunlu and her husband Xin perfectly demonstrate what couple power is. In our business, 1 + 1 = infinity. Do you know what? A perfect balance, if you want a perfect balance between career and family like Yunlu, you need the right vehicle, right? Okay. And let me introduce the next 2 speakers. And it's my honor to introduce them. And listen carefully. They will share about, what we can offer from our platform. Both of these ladies are very close to my heart. The first speaker is Su-Ling Leung. And I've been knowing Su-Ling for more than 10 years. Wow, I can't believe that long. She's an incredible lady with a big heart. I still remember the first time when I met her, she shared with me her dream is to become a volunteer and help the underprivileged people in Africa. Through the years, we grow together in business and in life. Su-Ling is an awesome mom and a wife, a great daughter taking care of her parents. In business, she's very articulate, perseverant, and trustworthy. And the second speaker is Cici Chen. Cici is my direct mentor, and she has impacted me so much in business and personal life, constantly pushing me to be better. And she is an amazing leader, wonderful wife, doing a magnificent job. And she is a humble and down to earth. Listen, she reaches her 3 million annual income. If I were you, I would sit down and listen very careful about what is she going to deliver to you. And without further ado, let's welcome our first speaker, Su-Ling Leung.
Wow, good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. It is such a great event. Thank you to our great women entrepreneurs. I've learned so much from all of you. So my topic that I will come to touch upon is a very important topic, which is women and wealth. So when it comes to women and wealth, I don't know what positioning you guys are in right now, but we do know that money is one of the topics that we will all have to deal with through our lives, right? So, but when it comes to finance, as amazing as we are as a woman, you know what? When it comes to paying off our credit cards, paying off student loans, or having a budgeting, a cash flow, and everything else that has to do with money, ladies, we are lagging behind when it comes to men. Well, there's a reason, obviously, right? So as many of our entrepreneurs have already shared with you, it's because we wear so many hats, So we are taking all these roles, and a lot of times we neglect our self-care. We neglect ourselves. So have you ever, okay, I was actually this week, I was preparing some of the slides for the presentation. I had my my son on my hands, on one hand, while he was reading to himself, while I was working, and I was like maybe texting some other people who had some questions. And I was like, wow, this is what, being an entrepreneur is like, right? And so yes, as a lady, okay, my girlfriends here or my ladies here, during this time, have you gone through something similar? Or have you had to take your parents to a doctor's appointment during this pandemic? You know what? You're part of what we call the sandwich generation. What that means is that we wear so many hats, throughout our stages. You are not just going to be we're not just daughters, we're not just wives and moms, but we have so many roles through our colleagues, through our friends, and to so many. And so that's why, even though the majority of women, some of us, we stay home at the beginning to be the front line in the homes, but then many of us, as a matter of fact, more than 40% of women, they provide more than half or close to half of the family income to families that have kids under 18 years old. So imagine that you are a full-time mom or you are a full-time daughter, and then yet you still have to work, right? And so because of that, a lot of us, we make less money than our counterparts, our males. And on average, women probably make about 8 cents for every dollar that a man will make. And so that's why in this graph, you can see that through this graph, it shows exactly what we go through as a woman. We go through parenting, caregiving, parenting later on, and caregiving spouse. And on average, we're lacking when it comes to our own self-care and to our savings. We, as a matter of fact, we probably lag behind over $1 million in gap when it comes to retirement. So yes, women, we do have to think about retirement. It is important to take care of our family, but at the same time, it's also so important to, to protect ourselves and also to take care of ourselves when we're talking about retirement. The reality about retirement is what? So on the left side, we see that when it comes to having sufficient retirement savings, or having confidence to be able to retire, or even the amount of savings that we have set aside for our retirement, we're still lagging behind compared to men. And many women, they actually have the expectation that they can rely on their spouse or on their partner to help them with retirement. But facts shows us that women, you know what? We will live longer. In general, women will live about 4 to 5 years longer than our males. And so, you know what? That means that's why statistics shows that elderly unmarried women or widows, they rely on 90% more on Social Security alone just for their retirement. I don't know how you're feeling about this, but this is scary. And so that's why this is a very, very special topic that I encourage you to learn more. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? So, when we are young, we have all these responsibilities. We have to take care of our families, to pay for all the basic needs, whether it is a mortgage, a rent, food, clothing, healthcare, you name it. So generally, we're less secure when we're younger, right? And then ideally, if we would have done it properly, as we get older, our responsibilities would have decreased and our wealth would have increased. Unfortunately, a lot of times we are stopped in the middle or at the beginning. Why? Because of all these responsibilities and because of lack of financial knowledge of how to grow your wealth. And so what we want is to help you to become, empower you with practical knowledge that can utilize in order to help you to, as you are young, to take care of all your responsibilities, but at the same time, building your wealth so that you can be secure, financially secure throughout your whole stage, not just during retirement, but throughout your whole stage in your life. So then the question is, well, then how does money work, right? I think that's a question that we all have. I actually was amazed when I first learned about this rule, which is called the Rule of 72. If you have never heard it, well, it has been around for hundreds of years, and it teaches us how money works, or to be more specific, how many years it takes for our money to double based on compounding interest. So let me ask you a question. Let's say if you have $10,000, what will you do with that $10,000? Or let me ask you even more closer. If you have $10,000, how will you save or invest that money? Where will you put it? I think majority of people, they will say, okay, let me put it in the bank, right? So if you put it in the bank, how much does a bank give us? From maybe 1% or less than that. So let's take a look at this. So what we do is that we take the rule number 72, divide it by the interest rate that you're going to earn on that money. So that means that if we are saving our money in a place that will give you 1%, it will take 72 years for our money to double. So assuming we start at age 29, from $10,000, that $10,000 compounds and becomes $20,000 by age 101. I'm not sure how you're feeling about this, but honestly, I don't think that's how we want our money to grow, right? So how about we find a place that will give us a higher return? So at 4%, again, where we can get 4%, maybe bonds, it's going to take 18 years for our money to double. And then how about if we find a place that will give us 8%? 8%, it takes 9 years for money to double. So from $10,000 by age 65, it compounds every 9 years. So it becomes you have $160,000 by age 65. Now, let me ask you a question. What if you can find a place that will give you a 12% return annually? How much would you have grown that $10,000 when you were 65 years old? Let's take a look at this. So it's going to be doubles every 6 years. So by age 65, you have $640,000. Okay, so that is, if you take a look at the difference between 4% and 12%, it's probably 3 times different, right? But is the compounding, the growth in your money only 3 times different? No. Why? Because of compounding interest, or more probably it's not linear growth, but it's exponential growth. So a lot of times we don't realize that the decisions that we make in our life in regard about money, it will determine whether we stay financially insecure or become financially secure. You know what, ladies? I salute to my female friends. If you are in the line of profession that you are giving so much, whether it is to the community and to the people, and yet you're not being paid for what you're worth. I used to be in a different industry, and I was doing great causes, such as you are. But I feel like a lot of times in society, some of the professions, we're not really paid for what we're worth. And so when it comes to learning about how money works, or comes to learn about building wealth, we really need to know the right strategies and the successful footprints that we need to follow in order to become financially secure, so that we can become financially wealthy, right? And so when we are talking about growing your wealth, well, there are certainly going to be some challenges. So when it comes, building your wealth, there is some what we call either your enemies or your friends that we need to manage. So obviously, as you know, first of all, we need to start somewhere. Many people, one of the challenges is that a lot of people will feel like, okay, I don't have enough money to save, right? And so the key is that it's a chicken and egg issue. So do we start saving once we have sufficient money? The answer is you start saving sooner and yesterday. So the sooner, the better. So if you're able to save $10, then save $10. If not, save 1 penny a day, right? And so that's what makes a huge difference. You see, based on this rule of 72, because money or time is of essence when it comes to this. So yes, start saving. But at the same time as we start saving, there are three things that we need to manage. Obviously, it's going to be what? First of all, is the return that you're going to get. So again, whether you get a higher return or a lower return, you have totally different outcomes. And then obviously market risk, right? If we are talking about, let's say this 12%, but is it consistent, right? If it's not consistent, then you will not annually have this return. So it's also very important to minimize and also to manage the market risk. And then taxes. Now, taxes, we know, is one of the biggest costs in North America. We actually, many of us, we pay more in taxes alone than for our basic needs, like lodging and all the needs that we need, right? And then, so let's say a 12% return at age 65, if you were to pay taxes, on average, we pay about 25 to 30%. You won't have $640,000 at that age if you had to pay taxes in that game, right? And you know what, ladies? Let's take a look at this. Another 6 years, this $10,000 compounds and it becomes more than $1 million. How powerful is that? Okay, and inflation. So make sure that where you are saving your money, you are beating inflation. Okay, so this is how money works. So are you on this lower end or are you already on the high end when it comes to building your wealth? Right now, at the same time, there's another very, very important consideration when it comes to building your wealth or for your retirement. Is a crossroad of health and and wealth. So I already gave you, probably saw the answer already. But how has mortality changed as a result of the following health conditions since 2000? Has these numbers going up or down? And as you saw, everything else is going down except Alzheimer's. And you guys know what that means, ladies? That means long-term care, that we also have to consider long-term care. Now, there has been statistics showing that people are not afraid to die soon, or not afraid to die, but they are even more afraid to outlive their money, which longevity is also one of the health, the concerns that we also need to prioritize and to consider. And then as we live longer, we also need to consider long-term care. Are you prepared for this? Have you ever been to a nursing home? I remember the first time that I visited a nursing home, I saw people sitting on the hallway. I didn't understand why. And, I visited from very affluent towns, nursing homes, and they had the best reputation and the highest star reviews. And still I saw that, it was quite very similar. And you know what? Most of the people who you saw there, a lot of them were females. Why? Because we women, we live longer. And so for our family, I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal story is that, long-term care is definitely something that I encourage you to consider and to think about it and to prepare for it. So as Jasmine has mentioned, we are taking care of our elderly parents, and my mom, she fought with cancer for many years. And I remember that immediately after she got surgery, the doctor advised us that we had to send her to a rehab center because I was working at that time, right? And so that's how I ended up visiting different nursing homes. And I went to some of them that cost a lot and they were in the best towns. But at the end of the day, we realized that this is not a place that I wanted my parents to be, and I don't want myself to be, and I don't want any of my girlfriends to be in there. That's not a position that you want to be in, right? And so, but because I had the flexibility in my business, we were able to take her home, and I was able to take care of her without putting her in a place that I didn't want myself to be put in. And then I remember that she had more than one surgery. One time we had no option, so she had to stay in a rehab for a little bit of time. And you know what? When you are in this facility, there's no freedom. One time we wanted to take her to the Boston Orchestra to listen to the Boston Pop. So we had to sign like this paperwork, and we hired a ambulance to bring her there. But it was like there was no freedom. You had to check in and you had to check out. I mean, how can that be? You are adult and yet you have no freedom, right? So, but I am so thankful that we had the opportunity because of our flexibility in time, and then to have the option when it comes to, wealth wise, that we had the option to take care of her. And then obviously right now, so that's why I'm telling you that long-term care is real, because my mom-in-law is going through that right now. So she has always been very active, being able to ride her bike even in her 70s by herself. But then all of a sudden she became weaker and she fell down. And because of that, she has surgery. Actually, she'll have a second surgery. And so she is in a rehab center that is like one of the top in Asia. And then she gets a lot of great treatment there. She has a haircut, they do her manicure, pedicure, and then yet she feels that she wants to go home, which we totally understand. Because when it comes to your retirement, you want to be in the place that you want to be at, right? You want to be in your own home, right? And so when it comes to, aging, you want to age with dignity, you want to retire with dignity, and you want to have that freedom that you are positioned in terms of financial wise to be able to focus and then prioritize loving, on the people that you love, or in doing the things that you love, whether it is to serving the community or helping, being a philanthropist and supporting that many needs in the world, because we do know that there's so many needs. Right. And so when it comes to your retirement, well, how do you envision your retirement? Wouldn't it be great to be able to be enough, if you choose to be in a facility, to be in an independent facility in which you can build friendships, it has a great environment, or to be able to travel, right, together with your spouse or with your friends, or maybe even like build a retirement home, like some women I know that has been realistic. And I know in my, among some of my colleagues, we have talked about, oh, maybe in the future we can build a retirement center together, right? Or even better, be able to stay home, right, in the comfort of your own home, and then also enjoy the company of your little your children and then your grandchildren. So the key is to be prepared and then to have options, right? So well, then when it comes to preparing financially, there's some steps that we will guide you along. And then one of the first steps when it comes to financial independence is what we call having a budget and cash flow in place, making sure that you are at the same time that while you are managing your expenses, a lot of times, a lot of us, we are left with having to cut on a lot of expenses when it should be the other way, right? Wouldn't it be great to be able to also have additional income, like a lot of income coming in? So at the same time that you're learning how to manage your expenses, it's also important that how about having that opportunity to access or to earn additional income, whether it is on a part-time basis or full-time basis, right? So the key is, most of us, we have a lot of financial instability because we probably have only one income. How about, have you thought what it would be like if you have multiple streams of income? Or even better, having passive multiple streams of income. So how to do that? We don't have time to go into a lot of details on that today, but we do have different webinars that will be able to teach about each topic. At the same time, it's having an emergency fund set in place at least 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses, because as we have seen during this pandemic, we know that a lot of people were not prepared, and so they were taken by surprise. But at the same time, At the same time, also if you have debts, make sure that you consolidate and you eliminate those debts. Now, when it comes to debts, there are some what we call good debts, but also bad debts. So it's okay to have some good debts, but when it comes to bad debts, we can eliminate those bad debts. And then having proper protection, making sure that you're protecting your ability to make income while also maximizing your family assets. And as you are building that growth, to consider to strive, inflation and also reduce taxation at the same time. But it's very important to seek professional help, right? Because if I'm a patient, I would not want to be my own doctor. And then lastly and not least, how to build a legacy for your family or build a legacy for the world, become an asset to society, right? So I hope that you're getting a lot of great nuggets here today. And then the next speaker that is going to share more with you about some of the opportunities in which you might be able to leverage and might be able to, other options. With that said, please welcome our Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Cici Chen.
All right. Thank you, Celine, and thank you, Jasmine. Good afternoon or good morning, depends on where you're located. This is Cici Chen from New York. Okay, it is my honor to be here to share with you my story. And it's wonderful to hear all those our partner, Christine Coy, Jenny Gabal, Yundu Jin, and Celine Liang, they're sharing. And thank you. I know the ladies working behind the scene, right? Jenny Wang and Braintree leadership, right? Okay, and also the great MC, Jasmine Mo, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, and also most important that you were here, my mentor, Lin Wing, going to share with you her story as well. All right, okay, first, okay, let me share with you okay, give me a see where I can control the, okay, yes, okay. So first, let me share with you one of a very powerful concept. It doesn't work, okay. Okay, very powerful concept. You may have heard about before. It's called cash flow quadrant, okay? And it's from the book Rich Dad and Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He said, there are 4 different ways people earn income. The first and the most important one is from E. E stands for employee. We all have been taught, we go to school, you get a good grade, and you will find a good job, right? Okay, it's basically you will be trading your time to make money, but you own nothing. That's why you have to actively work in order to earn income, right? Okay, and the second way to earn income is as S, stand for self-employed. You own a job, you want to become your own boss, right? And then you don't need to worry about being laid off. But the question is, your income is no guarantee. Basically, you own a job, but reality, the job owns you, right? Okay. And the left quadrant, the income is all from active income. Now, let's take a look at the left quadrant. The third way the people earn income is from B, as a business owner, okay? You own a system that can generate money for you. You may hire a lot of employees working for you, and you have you have people working for you, right? So you leverage people's time, and then you don't have to work the business in order to generate the money, because it will create the passive income for you. And the fourth way the people earning income is I, mean investor. You have capital. You invest your money to make more money, right? You may hire a professional money manager to manage your money, right? So basically, you have money working for you, all right? So the right quadrant, the income is from what? Passive income, all right? And as you know, 95% of population in the world are all from the E and S quadrant. And only 5% of population are from B and I quadrant. However, the 95% of wealth is controlled by the 5% of people in B and I quadrant. and the 5% of wealth is controlled by the rest of the 95% of population, right? Okay, and then the left-hand quadrant, the people average income is between 5 to 6 digits. And the right quadrant, the people have chance to make more money, even get to 7-figure income, even more. So the question is, how can you move from left quadrant to right quadrant? So today, I'm going to share with you the solution, all right? Our company is a global financial service organization, which provide life insurance, pension, asset management in more than 20 different countries. And we are one of the global Fortune 500 companies who provide a financial service in US and worldwide. And what kind of platform that we can provide? Hold on, it doesn't work. It doesn't go to the next slide. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. So what kind of platform are we able to provide us for you? A platform is very unique. No financial needed. You don't need to have financial background. You can come on board with us, start a part-time or full-time basis. And there's no clock, no time clock, and also have unlimited earning potential. You know, we also have a mentorship program that can teach you, help you to become successful in this business. And there's no territory. That's what, okay, there's no, I'm sorry, this is really kind of very sensitive. Okay, so there's no territory restriction. You can build your business all over, United States. So there's no, and then you can build as big as you want. And also we have a world-class recognition event and awards. So let me share you about my story. 28 years ago, I come to United States to pursue a master's degree in nursing. After I graduated from University of Maryland, I work in a children's hospital in Washington, D.C. as a clinical nurse specialist. And my husband worked in medical school as a scientist, research scientist. Our life were comfortable, but we did not forget our American dream. One day, a friend of his invited us to listen to about this business, and we went to listen to a seminar. I was intrigued by the information that I heard. I saw the potential of this business platform. Not only can provide us to improve our finance, also have the ability to help more family to improve their financial status as well. So my husband and I, we discussed, we started doing the business. We want to get into the business, start a part-time. And before we get into this company, we don't have any financial background. And we have zero experience in sales, but just follow the system that you see here, the business format system. We just follow the unit system step by step. And we work very hard and follow the advice from our leadership as well. Step by step, we work really hard. In less than 1 year, we have been promoted to manager position. And we decided we want to quit our job and went full-time for this business. Since then, our life changed dramatically. As I said earlier, that's unlimited earning potential. So we are able to grow our income from 5 to 6, now to 7 digits. And we can build our business all over the United States. And we have business all over 50 states and also Canada. Now our team have more than 16 people who making 7-figure income as well. And you already heard Jean mention about she is one of our team, so making the 7 figures income. Congratulations. All right. So this is a powerful platform that the company can provide it to us. And people always say work-life balance. I believe our company have the best work-life balance. We control our working schedule every day, and we work when we decided to. We love what we do because we are changing people's life for better, right? It is meaningful and rewarding. And we also believe in having fun. When you do well in our company, you get to go to a lot of trips. The great thing is the company pay for it. And vacation is always better when someone pay for it. Don't you think so? Hawaii trip. Every year. Oh, okay. It's jumping too quick. I'm sorry, so sensitive. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a second. Okay. All right, Hawaii trip every year. We're able to hang out with our mentor, Lynn and Andy, and also with a wonderful business partner and our teammate as well. And other trip. Every 3 years, we're able to go to the international trip. You see here, Tahiti, Europe, Australia, Fuji, more and more. What kind of company able to take you and your family to travel around the world? Not many, right? So I'm so thankful for this business opportunity, allow us to travel a lot of places. And also beyond providing financial freedom for ourselves and our team, company also gave us the means to help even more people through working with various charity and serving the community. For example, the donation we provided to Sichuan, the Wenchuan earthquake in Sichuan, China in 2008. It's one of the most devastating earthquakes in modern history. And we also every year, this is really very sensitive. Okay, and also every year we donated to International China Concern, which is saving the children, is abandoned child, the disabled child. And also we donated to the Houston, the Hurricane Harvey donation in year 2017. The amount that we're able to raise is so impressive. Even the mayor named November 19, 2017 is our company's day. The next is the COVID-19. Oh. Okay, it's a COVID-19, the pandemic. Well, I don't know what happened. Okay, it's okay. Okay, now it's come up. All right, COVID-19 pandemic of 2020, led by our mentor, Lynn and Andy, we're able to raise and donate a fund to purchase the mask and personal protective equipment to the local hospital and also for the senior resident. We are in the business to help family to protect their life and also safeguard their assets. And we also help to reach in a helping hand to those who in need. So I'm so thankful that I be part of this organization. In the end, I would like to leave you with one quote. I like this so much. Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you once made. If you want different result, make different choices. the life we have now and that make us who we are is because the choices my husband and I made 25 years ago. I don't know about you, but if you really thinking of changing your life and providing a better life for your family, be open-minded. After this event, talk to the person who invited you to talk about what we can offer. Maybe this is the one of the opportunity which can lead you to success. Because it's happened to me and my family. Thank you very much for your time and listening. Now I go back to the MC, Jasmine Mo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cici and Sule. Well, great information. Hey, let me ask you, do you want to take total control of your life? You know, it's not only how hard you work, it is how much you understand your money, right? Here right now until the end, at the end we have the pool for you to fill out. Please stay until and you will get the best from the next speaker, okay? Let me bring out the keynote speaker of today. It's my privilege to introduce this lady, Lin Yun. She's a truly remarkable and special woman in our business. Lin is an extremely successful businesswoman, multi-million earner, building the business across the United States. She's an incredible mom, raising 3 awesome children, and a wonderful friend of all of us. I remember many years ago, first time when we went to the company trip in Hawaii. At that time, we were just very new in the business. When Lin saw us, she came up to us and gave us a warm welcome. She remembered every single person's name. Wow, that's impressive. And her position that is so up there, but she can remember each of us. In business, Lin is a very driven and with high standards. In life, she's easygoing, very thoughtful, and she cares about people. Along the years, Lin is always the mother figure to me. Without further ado, please join me to welcome Lin Yun.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. And good morning to those of you who are on the West Coast. And thank you so much, Jasmine, for such a wonderful introduction. I also want to thank you, all of the leaders behind the scene who have put up this Zoom event to celebrate the Women's History Month. And it is my pleasure today to be speaking to all of you, especially our team members, about this topic. And before sharing you my thoughts, let me give you a brief introduction about myself. I am Andy's other half. As you already know who Andy is. We have been married for 45 years, now with 3 grown children and 2 grandkids. When I was 16 years old, back in 1966, probably many of you were not even born then. I came to this country to complete my high school diploma in Riverside, California. Then I went back to my country, Vietnam, to pursue my undergraduate studies. And then again in 1972, I was able to obtain another scholarship to come back to the United States to complete my master's degree. However, because of the political turning point of my country, I remained in the US. So, and then got married. After that, I was working as a corporate employee for 3 years, but because of having a family and children, I decided to get into real estate. so that I could have the flexibility to handle both a challenging career and handling my family life. After 13 years in real estate, in 1993, Andy and I came across with this company whereby together, side by side, we built this business for the past 28 years. For most women in the Asian culture, our priority is family and children. And I'm thankful to be in this company, that it offers me the opportunity to having a challenging career in finance and being able to handle my family life at the same time. Not only that, WFG, this company, is very special and unique in a way that it encourages couple and family to be in the business. And as you did hear earlier from my daughter, Christine Coy, who actually left a promising career with one of the largest companies in the United States to join us to build this business and run the operation from A to Z. For us to be able to pass on our business ownership to our children and their next generation. So not only that, for being in this business, we are able to build our family business. We also are able to help many, many others as well to be able to achieve a financial independence. And because of these reasons and the vision in this company, and Andy and I decided that when we started this business, and please remember, when we start this business, it's all by ourselves, just like any of you who started this business. And because of this vision, we decided that for the first few years in the business, Andy and I are going to put all of our time and efforts to make sure that this business will have a good takeoff. Therefore, our focus is very simple. As you all know that Andy was working with IBM at the time, so his focus is going to work during the weekdays for IBM, but after the hours and on the weekends, he would focus and dedicated all his time in this company, whether doing BPM recruiting or field training. So as you can see, very simple. His focus is IBM and this company. For myself, my focus is just my children, our children, and this company. So my daily agenda is very simple. As soon as the children were off to school, I put all my time to make sure that I would run the business operation by doing administration, interviewing, prospecting, recruiting, and even field training. And then as soon as the kids get home, I want to make sure I would be with them to take them to the activities from school and then help them, guide them to their homework. In between time, I also run the business operation on my kitchen counter by doing the underwriting, reviewing, for the application that Andy would bring back the night before, and then making phone calls, doing prospecting, and communicating with our team members. And not only that, I was responsible to prepare meals for the family. So as you can see, my total focus day in and day out for our first few years is just children, family, and WFG. So by combining our strength, because each of us, as a man and women, each of us will have different strengths. And by combining our strengths, we were able to create success in the business and bring values to our family life. And that's why for the past 28 years, we are able to build this great business across the states. And today, on the occasion of the Women's History Month, we celebrate all women throughout the world who have made history. And today, we got a chance to hear from our ladies guest speakers, whom I know so well, in my years of doing business. And as they share with you, their dreams that have come true. And also themselves, they have made a success in this company. So whether they are single, homemakers, or career women, these women have taken their first steps to make a difference in their family lives and other people's lives. They have proven to achieve success, whether by themselves or along with their spouses. As for myself, I can proudly say that as a wife, mother, and career woman, I have built a family legacy alongside and side by side with my husband for the past 28 years. To me, WFG, this company, is an equal platform for men or women, for people from all walks of life, and especially for those who dare to dream and make a name for themselves. And because of this company, as CC has shared with you, yes, we achieve our dreams. So no matter who you are and what background you come from, but as long as you make a decision to commit to make a name for yourself, we have a proven system to guide you through every step of the way to help you to achieve your goal. So I hope that by sharing our story and talk today, it will help you to see clearly your career path in deciding what you want to do and who do you want to become. Thank you for listening to me, and especially for today that we are celebrating all the women from different parts of the world that have made history. So I wish you all good luck. God bless you. And I will see you at the top. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Please, girls, ladies, and women, dare to dream. Here's the true business that help you to build family business and achieve financial independence and pass the legacy to the next generation. And thank you so much for joining us for this women's event. I appreciate you. I hope you feel empowered, enlightened, and inspired. We are building a community that encourages entrepreneurship, promotes financial awareness, and filled with positive energy. I hope you can be part of us. There's a pool for you to fill out and get back to the person who invited you. At the end, I appreciate you today and believe in yourself, please, and catch your success for you and your family. Thank you so much and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Lynn, so much.
Once again, I'd like to thank all of the great
Mama said, don't give up, it's a little complicated, all tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see you waiting. Had to have hopes for a living, shooting for the stars, but I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a time, but I always had a vision, always had hopes. Had to have hopes for a living, didn't know how, but I always had a feeling I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had hopes. Mama said